Hey guys, back episode 210, March 26th, 2024. Brian Dunnigan back again from Rock Life Studios, and we've got Dan Carter. I don't know where in the hell he's at. He's not on the couch this week. What's up, buddy?
We're hanging out at the shop this week, getting ready for Wildcat.
Well, it's about time you got something done. Uh, did we get any? Well, every time I've called you in the last 3 or 4 days, you've been at the shop. So what's been going on?
So we really honestly haven't been really motivated this season. I don't know why. It just seems like we we hadn't caught the gear, I guess. But when we got back from Windrock, uh, we had an issue with one of the very first trailing arms that we received from L&W. In fact, it's so old, it's actually like their Gen 1 trailing arm.
Yeah.
It had a slight bow to it, so we decided to go ahead and update those to the newest trailing arms. And man, those things are beef.
Did you paint them?
So yes, like they're powder coated, and they're the cool thing about them is it gives you the option to um, the new style.
Oh, you had
Pretty much
the old ones. You didn't put the
right,
brand new ones on. Okay, okay, yeah, I
right.
know where you're going.
So yeah, these are actually powder coated white, and then the I don't know what you would call that top plate. It's like an accessory plate. This it's basically where you can connect the brake lines, which
Mm.
is a pretty neat addition. But we went with we colored those white, give,
Oh,
give it a little bit of contrast. Um, so it some things that make the whole full body feel a little special.
well, listen, she's been getting a lot of love this year,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
so that she deserves it. She deserves a little night out on the town every now and again, a little fancying up. So that's good. Did we're not gonna I'm not gonna say too much, but is there still things on the table that need to come off the table still?
No, actually, we had to put that project aside to get the full body on the table. And once we get the full body sent out of the shop, then we're going to get back started on the other project.
That'll be cool. I can't wait for people to yeah, that's gonna be cool. Um, the L&W buggy. Well, I drug it home 2 weekends ago with intentions on getting some stuff done to it here, some welding and whatnot.
Right.
I'm no welder, guys. I don't know. I can tack stuff together, but that's the extent of it. So I'm going to tell a little backstory. I know it's kind of weird. We run an off road shop and I can't weld a lick. Um, my grandfather was a self made man, done a lot of things, had a lot of businesses, hands in a lot of pies. And growing up, he was always needing a welder. Always. Of course, they dealt with houseboats and things like that, so he always needed somebody to weld. He had the junkiest stuff. He would go to auctions and buy the most ratty old welders, and you know how those people are.
Oh yeah.
And I was growing up, and he tried to get me to learn to weld, and I know what he was thinking. You can go do the shit jobs for me. And so one of the things I done on purpose was I never learned to weld because I didn't want to be his person to go do the jobs nobody else wanted to do, and that's exactly what I'd have been doing. Now I'm
Right.
regretting it. But I can't weld a lick, so I drug the buggy home. We were going to do some welding on it. My stepdad was going to do some welding on it for us last weekend. We didn't get to, so I took it back to the shop. We piddled around with it a little bit more, and then we finally did get it home again this weekend. Got our winding nets put on. We had to lengthen the steering shaft just a little bit. We got that done. And what was it? Got the headlights on. Like it's I think, man, like with a set of shocks. If I could find a set of shocks somewhere that'd go on that thing. Like we could race it this weekend if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I say we. When I say we, that means
I
you. That means you.
we'll sit tandem in it. I don't care.
I don't know if it's got a big cab. I just don't know if there's enough room in there for both of us. But there's a couple things we've got to do. We still got to get the seat situated and get the top mounts for the seat put in, because those are going to have to be moved. And really, honestly, though, that's it, I think. And we got to do some motor swaps and stuff like that after the fact. But that's neither here nor there. But it's pretty well. It's going to be at the booth this weekend. It'll be sitting out. So everybody stop by and check it out. See what a piece of art L&W Fab Czech Golden built for us. I'm excited to see that thing. Everybody that comes in the shop that looks at it, they're like, man, that thing's killer.
I know, man. I'm excited to sit with the shop.
Yeah. Somebody that's smarter than us, if you're listening, we've never had anything 72. We've never had any Turbo S. We've always stayed 64. This one is a 72-inch buggy. All we have 64-inch shocks. Everybody says that it'll be fine if we respring it. If we're completely wrong, somebody call me and tell me.
Yeah. I'm curious to know too. I mean, it's one of those, like, in my mind, why would it not work?
Yeah, I think it will. Just we'll have to put some springs on it.
Yeah.
To be
And like
comfortable
even
in it.
though if not, then like you should be able to take what's there and make it work, if that makes sense. Like you said, either like respring it or maybe put a longer rod in it or something like that. But like I feel like we've got 90% of what we need from a shock if we did have to go a different route.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Honestly, the biggest concern for me is the front is really tight on room. That's the biggest concern for me is will the shocks physically fit up front. I've had a set of Walker Evans piggyback shocks up there. The Foxes are a touch bigger, so I'm hoping that fits. If that doesn't fit, then we've got to think about some things. But nevertheless, we'll be all right. Excited to get that thing out where people can see it. It was at here we go again, Wild Rock. It was at Windrock for a hot minute, but there wasn't but one or two people still around when it showed up, so everybody get to check it out this weekend. Before we get too carried away, though, I want to talk a second about the show, the channel, the YouTube deal. We're at 1.2 million views, 2,100 subscriptions on YouTube. Considering, like, the podcast has been going for a year now, but considering we really didn't start putting it on YouTube consistently and didn't start posting videos consistently until like last September, I'm pretty happy with the way the channel's growing. But if you are listening to this or watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. I would like to see these numbers double by this time next year, and that's very doable. It's just going to take some work from me and you. And
yeah. And I would like to get some input from everybody else too.
Yeah.
What would you like to see? Because I mean, a lot of these guys, they just go to the track and they film. So I mean, we're doing podcasts, we're filming that. We've got the availability to do in-car. We've got availability to do interviews. So like, I'm up to any kind of criticism or any kind of constructive ideas that anybody's got that would kind of tell us what they want.
Yeah, my goal is, and I do know that the Out the Top channel is kind of a hot mess, in the sense that we have the podcast and we have race footage and we have product reviews, and we have a bunch of different things. My goal eventually is I would like to take this podcast and do it on its own channel.
Right.
And we will get there, but it's going to take a few more minutes before that can sustain itself, I guess you could say, on its own.
Right.
But eventually we are going to clean some of that up. But I just want to say thanks to everybody who tunes in, who likes our show, who subscribes to the channel. And if you're not a YouTube person, the audio podcast usually comes out first anyways, and it's on everywhere: Google, Amazon, Apple, Spotify. It's everywhere that you can get podcasts. So go there, rate, review, do the things there. Make sure you set it to where it downloads for you. Not to talk about it too much, but we really do appreciate that. And listen, I've wanted to do the podcast deal. I wanted to do that for 3-4 years.
Oh yeah.
I remember talking to friends here in town that were audio gurus, and I was like, what do I need? I don't know what to do. Like, what do I need to buy? How do I need to do it? And one of my friends was like, you got a phone, don't you? I said, yeah. He said, just do that until you figure it out. And I was like,
Right.
Well, we could. But it's been fun. But like I said, I asked Clyde probably 3 years ago or 4 if we'd done one and would he be on, and he said he would. But I've not asked him since then.
Right.
So we've got to get him on one of these days.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That way we can fuss at him. But we'll try and schedule that. And when that happens, we'll put out some posts. That way we can get some questions from other people too. That we'll just pile it all on him. But yeah, we really appreciate everybody who listens, watches the show, all that jazz. And we really love the feedback at the events. We get people come up to us every race, and we never expected that. So that's totally cool. Moving on from that, have you checked on our buddy Ronnie, Super Grip Ron, today?
I did. I called him. I know if you have been living under a rock today, then you probably are not aware what happened this morning, early this morning in Baltimore, Maryland. Don't know a whole lot about the whole situation other than a shipping container hit a bridge. And I was like, well, Ron's not one to be out at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sure everything's fine. But, try to keep all my homies in check. So we called him and made sure he was okay and talked to him. And he said everything was fine. But the biggest thing, what he said about that area, is that there's like 3 ways over this waterway. And that bridge was the main one everybody uses, and it's like a shortcut for everybody. So he's like, traffic is going to suck the next, year or so till they get the
Dude,
bridge rebuilt.
How long do you think, like realistically, like that's going to be a big deal for a long time?
I would bet it would be a 5-year project.
That's
just I don't know anything about bridges other than they're everywhere. But if it's anything like the one we have in town that they've been working on,
you got one of them too.
Oh man, it's not even a bridge. It's like they built a cofferdam and had to pour concrete piers for the water to soon run through, and it's like I guess like a 3-bay. And I mean, they formed it all up with plywood. And it sat for like 2 months, and I was like, okay, well, concrete, like I know a little bit about concrete. It cures in about 28, 30 days. I don't know why in the world they just left this thing untouched for like 6 months, but it has been going on for almost a year.
We had a pretty big project here local several years ago They took one bridge out, built another one back in its place, and God, it seemed like that went on forever. And it's
Right.
probably less than a quarter mile long.
Whew.
But it was our major road, for
Right.
us in our town. And I couldn't imagine, dude. That thing's. They said it was 1.6 miles long, the bridge,
Man.
and it's all in the water. I seen Ron posted it that we kind of got ahead of ourselves. If you don't know Super Grip Ron is our Super Grip sales representative, racer liaison, I guess you could say. So we've known him for a while now, but he's from Baltimore. And I seen he posted on somebody's Facebook that, yeah, I travel that bridge all the time. And I commented, not no more you don't. So I don't know. That'd be wild, though. I mean, just to even see that. There was cars. They're lucky. I did get to look, and the police got the traffic stopped before all that actually happened. So they knew, or they were very aware that there was something going on, but they did get it stopped. I think there was 6 or 7 people still on the bridge. So, bad deal. But
Yeah.
at least old Ronnie's good. We'll see him this weekend, I'm sure,
Yep.
at Wildcat. What else has been going on, man? Have you talked to? Okay, so last year's youth series champion, Brantley Havens, got him a full blown Pro XP Razor.
Right.
Rumor is they're coming to Wildcat, and Brantley's going to make his debut. Have you talked to Dustin or seen anything that they got going on?
I've kind of chit chatted with him a little bit. Just Brent and I like to trash talk each other, and I know Dustin. Man, I think he's built like no kidding, like 3 or 4 different cages. He said that he can't get it right, like what he's got pictured in his mind. He's having a hard time getting it to come to fruition. But the last rendition I saw of it, pretty legit. The first one I saw, I was like, oh, I hope he's not going with that. Like it's just one of the. I just cringed when I saw it because all I could think of is it didn't look like it had enough support in the A pillar,
Yeah.
and I was, that's not going to be good. And then it's like next thing you know, he's already like trashed that whole idea, and he's come up with another one. And like I said, I think he's already went through like 3 or 4 renditions, and the one they've got now looks pretty good. It's going to tie into the bumpers, stuff like that. So, uh, it looks good. He was rattle cannon it, so I think they've got everything about ready.
Well, he's a plumber. He should have mocked one up out of PVC.
There you go.
Just mock it up out of PVC, and then when you build it, you can follow your lines you had done, and see,
Right.
you don't waste all that pipe.
That's right.
Oh Lord. I did talk to him. I think they had a good time
Yeah.
down at. They got to go to the Bristol Motor Speedway for the race last weekend.
Right.
They really enjoyed that. They had a good time. Hopefully, we'll get to go back one of these days. Back down to Super Grip headquarters in Bristol, Tennessee, which is, listen, Super Grip guys. If you're a race fan, they have the ultimate location. They are attached to Bristol Motor Speedway.
Right.
Their warehouse touches the front lot at Bristol, so you go down there, hang out with them guys, and you take about 15 steps, and you're at the damn racetrack. And for all the years I had season tickets to Bristol, and I didn't know those guys. Here I was paying $1,000 a weekend for a campsite, and I could have just pulled in old Super Grip there and been set up. But
That's
now,
right.
but now we know. Oh man, Wildcat this weekend. Another big car count.
Yeah, I was looking, man. Those are big numbers.
I'm a little surprised by Bounty.
Yeah.
There's only 5 in the Bounty class right now, but 23 bouncers, 17 in the Unlimited Cup UTV class, 17 in the stock class. That class is getting big.
Yeah.
It wasn't 2 years ago we were running and we were averaging 5, 6 cars.
Right. Yeah. I think everybody was sleeping on the stock class. Man, it's that and the VIN class to me is just so much fun.
The
But
VIN class looks like it would be a blast, but I can also see how um, I can also see why it doesn't draw the numbers.
right.
It's
I,
most of your trail rigs don't go fast.
right.
Most of your budget trail rigs are crawlers,
Well,
and
and two, we talked about it that like it being on Friday hurts it. I feel like if
that
you
does.
did the VIN class and the stock class on Saturday morning, I feel like you would probably have double the.
Dude, if we done the stock class on Saturday, if we could normalize it being on Saturday, they'd be 25, 30
Yeah.
every weekend, I believe.
Yeah.
I really do.
I would say it would be cool to see like UTV Cup, UTV Bounty on Friday, and then do stock VIN bouncer on Saturday, just to see how that Saturday would affect the car count.
That would be cool. A lot of your double dippers wouldn't be able to double dip cup to bounty, um, or wouldn't want to.
Right.
But I do think that would make, because with cup it's a little more laid back, bounty's a little more rowdy. Kind of gives you a preview maybe of what's coming the next day. And then the kind of the same thing, the stock class, a little more tame. So you don't have, usually in stock class you don't have a whole lot of recovery.
Right.
In the bouncers, you could have a lot of recovery.
Right.
So that would equal some of that out. Make the day maybe flow a little better. I don't know. Ideas. Not fussing about the way we do it, but I would love, man, if we could have that stock class on Saturday somehow. I really do
Yeah.
think the numbers would shoot up. It's just hard for that person, the person we're chasing with that class, and the person we're chasing with the VIN class. It's hard to get them there on Fridays on the regular. It's bad enough that we're having to travel. If they're running for points, you're having to travel to West Virginia, Missouri, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee. It takes a rare breed of people to keep up with that schedule,
Right.
let alone do it on Friday when you're having to take off work. I don't know. Just ideas. Something I'd like to see maybe one of these days. Maybe we can talk him into trying it next year, shifting some things around.
Yeah. That'd be one of those questions that go ahead and jot that down.
Yeah, we're going to get our Clyde notebook started. If you're listening, you're in trouble. We're going to break out all the dirt, buddy. One of these days. One of these days. But yeah, Wildcat's going to be a good show. Friday at noon, Saturday at 9. Man, I really don't know. It's the same courses probably we've been running for the last 3 or 4 years. I'm hoping that they get creative and find a way to add something. I don't know what that's going to be, or I don't know how to do that there. But I'd like to see them try and change it up a little bit.
Right.
Because we've been running the same lines for the last since 2018, really 19.
Yeah, I remember running um the bounty. It's been the same couple of hills last 5 years.
Yeah. Well, there's only so much there, and that's the downside. But it puts on. I mean, it does put on a good show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
But
hard and it's doable. The first time we went there, the bouncers. This was when it was just. I think it was just bouncers on Saturday. There wasn't nothing else. Mark Mathis, which is local to me, Mark won the bouncer race. He completed Hill 1 and drew first on hill 2, was the only man to make it up hill 2.
Mm.
And that's the broke down rock now that we come down. We tried to go up it a few years after that, and nobody could get up it. Mark shot up it, and then the next guy jumped up on there and dug it out. And this is how bad it got. When Timmy Cameron went to run, he pulled up to the rock, put his front tires on it, put it in reverse, and took it back to the trailer.
Yeah.
When Timmy knows Timmy can't do it, like that's how washed out that became that quick. Nobody was getting up it. But outside of that year, I mean, it's been pretty well the same courses. Hopefully, they can find something to change it up. That's the side of my first race. It's local to me. I love it. Hopefully there'll be some good racing going on this weekend. Boys, don't have a whole lot this week. Ready to get racing.
Yeah. I think the weather, didn't you say it was going to be like 70 and sunny?
Oh, they're giving high 60s and full sun Friday, 72, mostly sunny Saturday. So it's going to be, knock on wood, probably the best weather Wildcat we've had in several years. Because it's always rainy and it's always muddy.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's going to be pretty decent this go around. Last year is when we were over there and we had to push off the Friday race for like an hour.
Yeah.
Because it was coming a hurricane. It just seems like it's every year over there. But I think it's going to miss us this time. So that's good. After Wildcat, what we got coming up?
A few weeks after will be Hot Springs.
All right. I heard a rumor that you were going to make your bounty return at Hot Springs.
That's the plan. So when this gets off the lift, we're putting the pink buggy back on the lift, and we're going to get some things sorted out with that, and hopefully make a return to the UTV bounty at Hot Springs because we got a title to defend.
Well, I hope you go get it. And listen, I hope these what last year down there was like there's 14, 13, 14 entries. Hopefully you get that again.
Yeah.
And then you can last year at the Bristol race, Denny Hamlin won the race. He got out of the car and he said to the crowd, he said, "I beat your favorite driver." And the interviewer goes, "Who's that?" And he said, "All of them." So that comment means more when there's more people there.
That's right.
So hopefully it's a good crowd and you have a good showing. We're not going to. I won't be there. I'll leave that to you. I don't want to jinx your good luck down there. So anywho, guys, like I said, not a lot going on. If you want to shoot us some messages, if there's anybody you want on the show, let us know. If there's any questions you want us to pass on to those people, let us know. If there's any questions you want us to ask drivers at the races, let us know. And we'll try and get all that and get it in on one of our channels somewhere, somehow, some way. Or we'll add it to the podcast next week. We will be back next week to talk about the event at Wildcat. We'll go over how the weekend went and the rundown, see how our finishing order turns out. Short episode this week, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Right on. Bye.